Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Dream Alchemist. I am your host, Crystal Lauren, and welcome to a new episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about shadow work in Chiron astrology. Shadow work, if you don't know what that is basically work you do with your shadow self. The shadow is the self that you bury from wounds or trauma or pain that you have experienced in your life, and you keep them hidden. You do not want to deal with them, and until some event happens that causes you to have to reflect on them. So, Chiron is not a planet, it is it is in astrology. It is on your natal birth chart, and it is considered a planet, but it really is not a planet, but it is on your birth chart. And what Chiron tells you in your birth chart is where your wounds lie. All right. Knowing where Chiron lies in your chart will tell you what kind of wounds you are dealing with and the best way to heal them and grow. So many people, until they learn this, don't know. They have these traumas, they have these wounds, and they experience pain, whether it's emotional pain. Well, emotional pain mostly is what shadow work is about. And they don't know that they have access to really heal it through their natal chart, which is your birth chart. And if you pull up your birth chart, if you have, you can pull it up with, there's dozens of apps and, online cafe astrology, time passages. You can download that on your phone, but they all, can tell you where your Chiron is in your chart. And in your chart, it kind of tells you like where your wounds will be at the time of your birth. You came into this world, into this lifetime for a purpose, and that purpose often involves you experiencing some type of pain that needs healing. And once you do that, that can it's put you in alignment with what your purpose is. So we're going to go through Chiron in each of the signs, because Chiron is placed in a sign and it can be placed in a house. It's placed in a house as well. And based on that, kind of tells you what areas you need healing that you kind of buried, that you probably don't think about anymore, because you got them before you came into this lifetime from a previous life, or you got it as a child. Okay. For me, mine was, my wounds came about in childhood because my Chiron is in Aries. Okay. And it is in my first house as well. Let me just look. Yeah, it's in my first house, and it's in Aries. So Aries is the first house, but sometimes people can have theirs in one or the other, or it can be in the same house. If that makes sense. So that's what we're going to discuss in this episode. Next week we'll go into the houses, but this week I'm just going to break down the signs. All right. And I'm going to be reading from a book, and that book that I have kind of gives me a breakdown of each sign. And that book is Chiron and Astrology, the Ultimate Guide. Let me see. Let me tell you guys the name of it in case you want to get it. Is Chiron and Astrology. Okay, by Mari Silva. All right, so now there is a periodic cycle in Chiron when it cycles around the sun. It takes 50 years to cycle around the sun. So if you are not 50 yet, then, at 50 is when there is a Chiron return. And 50 to 51 is when your Chiron return is. And my Chiron return just happened within this last year. I'm 51 now. So I'm in a Chiron return, which makes sense because I'm also in a 9-year um, personal year, a personal year number 9 as well. So it me working with my Chiron right now is the perfect time for me to do so. Okay. Now, and that's where my healing really kind of took place in this last year. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it as I don't want this to be a very long episode. And yeah, so let's go into Chiron in. I'm going to start with Chiron in Pisces first because in this book they have it first for whatever reason they do. So Chiron is power, is pain, all right? When you think of Chiron, you think of pain, you think of a wound that needs healing. And really, it is your power. Knowing it gives you power, okay? Now, there's a whole myth story about who Chiron is and what happened. I'm not going to go all into that. There's many video in the book. It tells you about the story of Chiron and other people have told about it. I am not going to go into that because it'll just take too long. Okay, so just do some research on Chiron if you want. If you want to know the myth story about it, if you're into that. Okay, so I did do a blog on this on Chiron. Uh, on my blog, on my website, so at crystalherbalcreations.com. So make sure to check that blog post out. That'll give a little bit more information on how to heal from it. Now, let's get into. So this is going to help you turn your weakness into strength. Okay. Now let's talk about Chiron and Pisces. Now, Chiron and Pisces is they tend to have a victim mindset. Now, a victim mindset is a person that wallows and revels in their suffering. So, whenever you're going through something, you're that person that, why me? Something always happened to me. And man, it never stops. It's always something. And I'm always going through something. And you replay it over and over in your mind to the point where it really does not do you any good. It lowers your vibration. It keeps you depressed in a sunken place. And you also, and because you're in that vibration, you're going to attract fellow victims. You're going to attract fellow people that are the same way. All right. Um, Now, what's going to help you is to learn how to balance that. First of all, whenever your thing is, now depending on where yours is placed, if it is placed in the 12th house, then we'll talk about that, what that means in the next episode. But what you want to do is, if this is you're always thinking about what you have suffered, what you have gone through. That's you. If you look at your chart, then more than likely your Chiron is in Pisces, and you need to deal with that. That is something maybe you don't realize that you even do. You have the why me mentality. I'm the victim. Um, and you often think about everything that you've gone through, everything that someone has done to you. You keep it on your mind, and you need to find some balance in not just thinking about that. You need to focus more on the good things that happen in your life and find some type of balance somewhere. Once you are aware that is you, then you need to find a way to fix that so you can also help others. That'll be part of your life path to help others be able to deal with their suffering a little bit better. That is your goal in life, is to find a way to handle your suffering a little bit better and not um, live in pity. Okay. Now that's Pisces. Now let's get into Aries. Aries, Chiron. Now, if you know someone that's like this, with the Pisces, then you might want to look at their chart. If you're in a relationship with someone and see that that's in their chart, then you know why, and why they do that. Okay, so you don't have to, because it's in your chart, don't mean you have to just accept it and that's you and you, but you do have to learn how to overcome it. That way you can help others overcome as well. That is your purpose in life. All right. Now, Aries. Aries takes identity crushing blows. This person is constantly battling to find their authentic self in a world full of suffering. Okay, now this is where mine is. All right, Chiron in Aries native, because they have had a rough go of it, particularly in their early life, psychologically and physically. Now this is very true for me because um, early off in life, I was born with a condition where I grew tumors on my body, and I experienced a lot of pain. And I was also taunted and teased a lot as a child as well. Okay, so badly that, I mean, it was very bad for me. I cried like almost every day. If it wasn't for the physical pain, it was for emotional pain. And that started in childhood, and because it throughout life, it affected my self-esteem, my worthiness. It affected me in a big way, and it's something that is definitely a shadow of me, of the worthiness thing, of am I worthy of having what I really want, or being chosen and things of that sort. So now, if your Chiron is in Aries, once you learn how to heal from that, you'll be able to be a great crisis counselor, and you'll be able to help others around you that have wounds. Now, the thing with Aries is it's about their identity, who they are, who um, who they are as a person is where their pain lies, is being accepted, being wanted, being loved, feeling that. All right. And once you overcome that, you will be powerful at helping other people in that area as well. Okay. So that is Chiron and Aries. All right. Now, Chiron and Taurus is also about struggle with self worth, material possessions, and self worth. So they have self esteem issues when it comes to possessions and material things. That if they're not, if they don't have the material possessions, they connect their self-worth with material possessions. So if they don't have the best of things, then they feel a lack of self-esteem. All right. So you have to prove a point with the world through materialism. You have to look good. You have to have the best of things. You have to, in order for you to feel worthy. All right. You feel like the world needs to see you, see your material possessions. You connect them with both. And again, you're going to be somebody that has some self esteem issues if you don't have it going on materialistic possession wise, or if you have it and you lose it, you're going to go into a sunken place, you know. And again, a lot of this may not directly apply because based on other things in your chart or where you are, you're able to recover quicker than others that may have this same Chiron and Taurus. Okay, but materialism is very important to you, and if you don't have it, you have a lack of self-esteem issue. All right, so you you need to kind of look at that and see if that's you. You know, take a look back as part of your shadow work. Take a look back to see if that is something that you you know, when you came into a family that has that, but you as an adult really are not on that same level as your parents were, maybe that has material things, or people around you, your friends have it going on, and you want to have it going on like that, but you don't. So you have a low self-esteem because of that, because you don't have that material possession, you know, like you may see others have. Okay. So you will need to find a way to kind of see your self-worth outside of the material things. Okay. And there's a lot of people that feel like they gotta have that and they end up, you know, bankrupt and gambling and all kind of different things to help them get money to be able to buy the things that they want to make them look like, you know, make them feel better about themselves. All right, so Chiron and Gemini. Now, Chiron and Gemini, they struggle with psychological problems. Okay, they were someone that maybe growing up they were never heard. They weren't able, because Gemini is a communication sign. They struggled with being heard. Right. Um, they never were able to find their authentic voice. They always felt like they weren't heard, um, or not, you know, people didn't listen to them. They were shut down. Maybe you say, you know, you say something and someone shut you down and like, you don't know what you're talking about, or don't say that. And your authentic voice was shut down. All right. Now, and that made you feel unloved because you were not heard. Okay. So once you heal that, you will be a great teacher to be able to teach people how to overcome that and teach people how to be heard in the world, how to communicate. Okay. Now, even better, you know, you'll really be able to do this very well depending on where other placements as far as communication goes. Um, you'll be able to overcome this wound that um, you know, maybe you were in relationships where you could not speak your mind, you know, you know, as well. Now, let's go ahead and go into Cancer. And after Cancer, we're going to take a break and then we'll finish the rest. So, Cancer. Now, Cancers. often have a significant issues with their mother. All right. This plays out either in the form of power struggles or abandonment issues when you were much younger or still dependent on her. However, until now, something deep within you wants nothing more than to be nurtured. Cancer is the nurturing sign, so um, they're nurturing, so they want nurturing as well. And if your Chiron is in Cancer, then more than likely you had a problem being nurtured as a child. For instance, you had a mother that was not around, or she was so tough that she wasn't very loving or nurturing, or she had mental illness. Like my mother has mental illness, um, but her mental illness did not really come into play until I was an adult. And so this is not my issue, although I can see how it could be someone's issue having a mother with a mental illness that is not all there. My mother kind of was this person, tough and everything. Um, she was nurturing to a degree when I was younger, but if I was young now and the way my mother is now, um, then I can definitely understand how someone may feel, because even though my mother became mentally ill when I was like 19, um, I feel like I've lost my mother since that age. And then I have a younger brother that's 10 years younger than me, so he really feels like he did not get that nurturing because most of his childhood she was in this mental state where she could not be nurturing. So his Chiron is not in Cancer. I looked it up. I wanted to see because I'm like, oh my God, is this my mother? I mean, is this my brother's Chiron? But it was not. So, um, but yeah, so they they struggle getting their mother's because they struggle getting their mother's love. That's where their pain lies. Okay, and you have to overcome not getting that nurturing love, being able to um, being able to still feel loved without that. And once you do that, you will be able, your thing purpose would be to show people how to love themselves even though they didn't have that. So you will be a perfect person to deal with someone that have their mother maybe was on drugs or wasn't there, or their mother didn't raise them or gave them up for, maybe you were in foster care and you went through foster homes and things of that sort. You would be perfect with, once you overcome the pain of that nurturing, because you have it there, it's in your shadow. You may have buried it and put on a tough exterior, like, you know, you want that nurturing because you're not getting it. You try to put up a wall so when you don't get nurtured by someone else, that you're okay with it because you don't want to feel that pain anymore. Okay. All right. So that is Cancer. So after our break, we're going to go into Leo. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This episode was brought to you by Crystal Herbal Creations. Crystal Herbal Creations uses alchemy to help people with spiritual transformation and create the reality they dream of. Our products are intuitively created for the purpose of bringing healing and transformation to an area of your life with the use of herbs, oils, crystals, and powerful intentions. We offer readings and courses that can help you get clarity while on your spiritual journey. If you want help on your spiritual journey, please visit crystalherbalcreations.com. All right. all right. We are back and we are talking about Chiron in your natal chart. And Chiron is where your wounds are. This is where you need to do your shadow work. And your Chiron is on your natal chart, and you'll be able to find it there. And we're going through all of the signs. We left off at Cancer, so now we're going to go into what Chiron in Leo, what type of wound that is, and where it may lie that you may not be aware of. So, Chiron in a Leo person is about being creative and wanting the world to see their work. However, they cannot stand it when their work is mocked or criticized. It can cause them so much pain. The cutting remark about their creative work cuts deeper than an actual cut with a sharp knife for them. It is like the child that was likely told that they should not draw anymore because they are awful at it and their dance is silly. So they are the wounded artists, okay? So Leos are artistic, and if you criticize their work, they are going to be very hurt. All right, you're going to be very hurt if somebody criticizes your artistic abilities. All right, whether it's your dancing or acting or drawing or painting, writing, anything artistic that you do, if it is criticized, you're going to feel the pain of it. You're not really good at being criticized in that area of your life, and or being mocked or being made fun of or anything in that sort. So because Leos are so artistic, that is their one of their strong suit abilities. That's where their wound um, is. So you will have to overcome that, because that is what you do. You're an artistic being, and if you are going to um, what you do in your purpose is going to involve you being artistic. And if you shy away from being that artistic person because you don't like being criticized, then you're not. It's going to prohibit you from being on your life path. Okay, it's going to prohibit you from doing so. So you need to get a handle of how to heal those wounds and how to overcome being criticized um, of your work, because it's going to happen. Not everybody's going to like what you do, and you have to be able to not let that criticism give you the pain to where it stops you in your tracks. Okay, so overcoming um, that, doing healing in that work. Maybe at one point you were artistic and you stopped being artistic because of that. Then now you know why. You may have buried it deep inside. Maybe something happened as you know you began to be artistic, but you stopped being that person. But really deep inside, you really want to be that person. But you put it in the back of your mind that no, I cannot be an actress. No, I cannot be a model. No, I cannot, make this my career as an artist, because of the criticism that you once um, received, made you change your whole career in life. Okay, so that is Chiron in Leo. All right, now Chiron in Virgo. Chiron in Virgo is constantly dealing with health issues. Even when they are in perfect health, they worry about whether a little tickle in their throat is more than just a common cold or random sensation. They often hop on WebMD to diagnose themselves, to the point where they have anxiety and health issues on its own. So you can worry yourself to death, um, worry yourself sick. You're a person that worries yourself sick when you get a little bit of inkling of sickness. Okay, if you have some type of sickness, you make yourself sick worrying about being sick, which exacerbates it or makes it draws it out longer than it would otherwise be. And because your health is so important to you, you with a Virgo, health is very important for Virgo. So your weakness is not being able to deal with your health not being good, and it causes you anxiety. So your physical health cannot be good. So then you start worrying about it, and then it bothers your mental health. So you have to really um, learn how to um, not worry so much about being sick when you do get sick, or not, something's wrong with you. If you have a health issue and you have to have some tests done, you're going to be more so prone to worrying about it's the end of the world, like you're about to die. You're going to be more prone to thinking like that. And when it comes to your health, you need to really learn how to, in this area, because if you didn't know it, you know it now, if you're listening to this, that that is a part of you in your shadow that you just really need to catch yourself doing. All right. And do some meditation when when you get sick or something, and do some meditation. You do things to try to stay healthy. If you're not doing things to try to stay healthy and you get sick, you don't have a really real healthy lifestyle, because you could have a healthy lifestyle, but sorry, you could be a person that health is important to you, but you don't keep a healthy lifestyle to the point that you should. There's some area that you're lacking in where you may overindulge to cause you to get sick, or you don't really stay on top of it like you should. So when you do get sick, then you're out like go nutty crazy, thinking you're about to die. Or you are a health fanatic and you stay on top of your health because you do not like being sick, because it causes you anxiety. But you're causing the anxiety, not the health issue. Your thoughts is causing the anxiety, and you really need to be careful with your thoughts, and probably should, with your shadow work, should involve you changing your mindset, revolving about your health. Okay, when you do get sick, be prepared for it. Like, people get sick, you're going to get sick. There's no person in this world that's never, ever, ever not going to get sick, even the healthiest person in the world. So you have to trust in the healing process of whatever illness that you incur, and trust in the process of learning what it is. You probably do search on it looking for to see if it's, you know, cancer, or if it's the worst thing ever. You go toward the negative than the positive. So you need to do some mindset work when it involving your health. When you have Chiron in your Virgo, you need to, if you do have don't have a healthy lifestyle, you might want to implement one that can help you alleviate some of, if you're getting sick all the time, then maybe it's something you're doing that can be adjusted. If you're worrying about as soon as you get sick, what is it? It's the, oh, I'm about to die. Then that's a mindset thing that you can definitely fix. You definitely can heal. And maybe after you heal yourself from worrying about being sick all the time, then your life path can be about helping people that are sick get through their illnesses without it affecting them mentally. That is your goal in life, is to get through health issues without it affecting you mentally. Okay? That is your purpose of your wound. Okay? All right, so now that is Virgo. Okay, let's go and get into, oh, I lost my page. Let's get into the next sign, and that next sign is going to be Libra. Now, Chiron and Libra, that involves relationships. All right. Uh, the native of this placement is a little too skilled at being defensive, evasive, and non-committal, which is ironic because they crave union. They do not want to connect with others because they no longer want to deal with being hurt anymore. This native is healed when there is no further struggle for harmony and peace, no matter the cost. They are not afraid of commitment anymore and they are ready to dedicate themselves to others. So, you have an issue with being hurt by someone else in relationships. So, you're uncomfortable with committing yourself fully in a relationship because of hurt. All right. Maybe as a child, maybe you have a father that was not there, or a mother that was not there. You experienced this pain, possibly early on in life or in another lifetime, where you were hurt by someone, and it makes you not want to commit to others. All right. And you need to be able, you'll be healed once you're able to be able, once you're able to commit to others and not be afraid of any pain that may occur. Not to say that you have to be able to handle that pain. That is your shadow work, is to be able to deal with pain in relationships. Okay. You are the person that needs to overcome that, be in a relationship and learn, take down the walls, be committed, give your whole heart. And if you do get hurt, you know how to deal with that pain better, and not and still be able to commit again if necessary. That is where your wound lies. That's where your healing lies. You can help others with their relationships once you overcome this, because there is a lot of people that have walls up in relationships that for this same reason. So you came into this life to heal from that and to help others heal from that as well. Okay. All right. So that is Chiron in Libra. Now let's go into Chiron and Scorpio. The idea of regeneration is common with the Chiron and Scorpio native. They might be in circumstances so terrible that even the devil would not wish that on anyone, yet they would pull through every time. They bear the weight of losing those near and dear to them each day, and they battle long, hard with grief. So, Chiron and Scorpio don't handle grief very well. So, if someone dies, you do not, close to you, you do not handle that very well. Okay. Um, you you can't bear losing anyone. All right. So you, if someone close to you dies, I mean, you just struggle with afraid that someone is going to die or you're going to lose them. And if you have, you, your grieving processes are very hard on you. So you overcoming this can help you become a grief counselor and help others deal with grief. There is some place, depending on different placements in the chart, where if you have like Jupiter in a chart that deals with a lot of death, I think that's in the eighth house, because my Jupiter is in the eighth house, and where you experience death a lot. And if you have this placement and you experience death a lot, then you definitely want to be someone that learns how to learn how to deal with grief, That way, you can help others in that same way, especially if you have a Jupiter in the eighth house, um, where death just happens often for you, and you find yourself in situations where you have to grieve. But if your Chiron is in Scorpio, then you are really um, you really that is really a sign that you overcoming that grief, you are really meant, you have the ability to help others deal with grief and loss. And you just need to learn how to do that. There's many ways to do that. You can see grief counselors, or you can seek, first you have to learn how to deal with it yourself. And once you do that, then that is a thing that you can probably help others deal with is grief. Um, my Jupiter is in the eighth house, and I've not had a whole lot of deaths, more so in the most recent years, yes, but I've had deaths in my life. But I also will be the person that is there for people in when they lose someone. I'm often that person that's able to be there and up close at their last days with with someone with someone that's going through losing someone. I'm able to be there and help them with the grief of about to lose someone as well. So that is something that where your womb lies in Scorpio, Chiron and Scorpio. All right, so let's go to the next one. The one thing that you can think about with let's go back to the Scorpio, because I just got a intuitive thought to put on your heart, is that the death is you have to it's the way you have to look at death is the problem that's causing your grief more than anything, is the way you look at death. And looking at death um, in a way of like you lost them forever is something that could be causing you more pain than anything. If you look at them where you have not lost them forever, especially if it's a family member, doing ancestor connections may be very helpful to you. Establishing an ancestral connection with your loved ones that have gone can help you overcome this grief, because you'll still feel their presence, you'll still feel them there. Trust me, I know. Connecting with your ancestors is an amazing thing to do. And if you don't know how to do that, that is something that that I offer on Crystal Herbal Creations, how to connect with your ancestors, especially when you're dealing with grief. Grief, because when I lost my grandmother, oh my goodness, it was, my grandmother was close to all our grandchildren, but it was very painful. That was probably like um, it was painful. And she came to visit me in my dreams several occasions, and that's when I began my ancestral connection journey. I knew that that was her coming to me to help me deal with grief and help me connect with her there and send me messages and direct me and guide me through the rest of my life. And that connection has been so powerful. It's like she's still with me. So just wanted to give that um, to you, you Chirons and Scorpio. Now let's go into Chiron in Sagittarius. Now, Chiron and Sagittarius, faith matters to this native more than anything else, not to the context of mainstream religion. They could very well be atheists. Still, faith is a concept they live by, one they hold in their minds and souls, even if they will not admit to having it. If this native encounters deep wisdom, it won't matter if they do not feel connected to it. Still, they thirst for true meaning of life and expresses so that they can have wisdom and joy. When they realize that those things come from within, they will be more open to expressing their faith personally. In the process, they will grow in spiritual awareness. Okay, so Chiron and Sagittarius is really about um, faith, having faith, expressing faith, having faith in something. Um, you need to figure out how to grab a hold of faith. You don't it's you don't you're trying to you're in search of finding something to believe in and trust and so like if something goes wrong, you need to find something that, okay, I can believe in this. You need to seek, you definitely need a spiritual journey, some spiritual awareness. Learn more in that area where to make you feel like your faith is within. Everything you need is within your higher self, God, whatever it is that you're in search of to help you believe in something. You kind of feel lost um, without the faith. So your wound is in that area of faith, meaning that you thirst for true meaning of life. You like, what am I here for? What is the purpose of all of this? And when you don't know it, you may feel um, some type of way, unsure. You may feel down or maybe not anxiety, but depression a little bit, not knowing what everything is about. Having faith, something to believe in. You need something to believe in. And that is what you need to be in search of. That's where your healing will take place. Maybe sometimes you feel down about something and you don't even know why. Well, that's probably why, because you need a connection on the spiritual side. Okay. Spiritual awareness. You need more spiritual awareness. Okay, so that's Chiron and Sagittarius. So now let's go to Chiron and Capricorn. Chiron and Capricorn, it is hard for you to find your place in the world if this is you. Okay, at least that is how it seems to you. Even when you have accomplished so much and achieved heights of fame and success in your chosen field, you still feel like you do not fit in. You feel inadequate. You are haunted by imposter syndrome day in and day out. This will end when you know and acknowledge your true worth. It is not an easy thing to do, but you have to know you are worthy before you can give your best, which is even better than amazing feats you have accomplished so far. Okay, so um, yeah, you feel inadequate for some reason. You have a wound of feeling inadequate. Something may in your childhood may have brought this on. Maybe you came into this lifetime with it, but from a karmic debt or anything like that. But you feel you don't know. You feel inadequate. You feel inadequate. Period. And your purpose, your wound, you need to turn whatever is making you feel inadequate into a positive. You need to figure out what makes you feel inadequate. What is it? You've been successful in different things, but you don't still feel fulfilled. This could be because have not really operated in your purpose yet, or you're feeling inadequate. This is one of those placements where you feel inadequate, and it could be because you have not found your life purpose yet. It's something that, and once, but again, it's not your life purpose that's going to make you feel adequate. It's you feel adequate from within yourself, period. And then you take that and you utilize that for your life purpose. So it's inner work that you need to do that makes you feel adequate. What is it about yourself that makes you feel adequate? Focus more on those things than what makes you than you not feeling adequate. Like you constantly got to be doing something to prove yourself or feel adequate. You constantly have to find yourself doing that, being in search of that. So something is buried underneath making you feel inadequate, and you have to fill that void with connecting with your higher self so that you can um, do that shadow work and start feeling adequate. And then again, this is something that you're able to help other people overcome once you heal from it yourself. Helping people find their life purpose, helping people feel fine, what makes them feel good, a life coach or something like that. So that is Chiron in Capricorn. All right, so now let's go to Chiron in Aquarius. Now, Chiron in Aquarius, this native displays incredible genius, coming up with ideas that are beyond the times. This is the great inventor who is unknown and working with limited resources and poverty, desperately trying to convince anyone that their inventions will serve the world wonderfully. However, no one is listening to them. At best or worst, they are ridiculed. As a result, they isolate themselves, not because they want to be alone, but because of the pain of ridicule. So, um, you don't like to be ridiculed about the things you do, the ideas you come up with, the inventions you come up with. Um, you are very good at doing this, and when you're ridiculed about it, you go into isolation. You don't feel worthy. You feel like your um, brilliance has been, taken away from you, or you know, it causes you pain to be ridiculed. You don't like to be ridiculed, so you're not good with rejection. So accepting rejection is something that you would need to do work on. And when you do your shadow work, you can go to the root of that. Everything, all of these is getting to the root of it, getting to the root of where the pain initially started, where you got that rejection, and being able to face it and deal with it, and not let it shut you down to where you don't want to, where you're closed off, you're isolated, and become depressed and things of that sort. So if that is something that you're dealing with, then it's possible you have your Chiron in Aquarius, and you just do some more digging, and to see where that started. If it is in your childhood, if you came up with some ideas, you know and you got ridiculed about it at a young age, and because it's embedded in you to do those things, when you got older you still come up with great ideas and inventions, you still do it, but once you're ridiculed, you're shut down. So you need to find a way to deal with being ridiculed, because that's going to be inevitable. and and you don't want it to silence you. You want to keep that going, or keep that alive, so that you can live in your purpose, and also help others with your new ideas, and bring what you bring to the world, and helping others. Once you overcome being able to deal with rejection, then that is something you can show others how to do as well. So that is all of the signs. All right. And that is it for this episode. If you like this, make sure you tune in next week. Next Saturday, it will be available where we go through the houses of the Chiron, so you don't miss out. Make sure you check out, follow me on Instagram at Crystal Herbal Creations, and visit our website, crystalherbalcreations.com, so you can tune in to this episode next week, or follow me on Spotify as well. So that's it. That's all. Hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are listening to this. Bye bye.